Well, I was going to wait and do a video on this someday, but I happened to be watching there's a channel called Fortnite, and it's a motorcycle channel. He was talking about odd motors. This is one of the odder ones, and it comes up in that video. It is a 1960 Puch. They were made in Austria, but sold by Sears. All state, but Sears sold all kinds of stuff under that badge name. They sold for like $500 new, and at the time, $250 was a big bike. It was the biggest that Sears was selling, but cool. I knew a guy who had one of these, and I wanted one so bad. You'd see him in the catalog and think, "Oh my God, if only," But $500 in 1960 was a lot of money. But it's a lot of motorcycle. But what it is, the motor is called a Twingle. It's a 2 cylinders with one head, one combustion chamber. So you got 2 exhaust pipes, but like I say, there's 2 spark plugs. But when it's running, you can pull one plug off. It doesn't matter. It's going to keep running. It's one continuous head on top. They're an odd machine. I've never had one apart, though. Like I say, I knew a guy who had one, and the one bike shop I was working at, we took one in on trade. It sat there for a long time. But very well made. Just really a very nice bike. Cruise at like 60, top speed is 80. They're like 16 horsepower. But just a very cool machine. They don't come with that seat. Somebody recovered the seat. Now, we haven't taken the seat cover off yet because originally the seat underneath is a horsehide seat. Hopefully, this was something the guy did to be cool, and that horsehide is in good shape yet. But it's odd, like they've got 2 gas caps. This is gas. This is oil because it's a 2-stroke. But the oil tank only, it's like this part. And there's the gas back in here too. And I, for the life of me, can't figure out exactly how that's supposed to mix. Because there's just one oil line that runs down into the crank. I'd swear it must push the oil to the crankshaft and just slop it around, and that's how it lubricates the cylinders. I don't know. It's just so weird. Like I say, I've never had one apart. A single carburetor, and you just rotate the air cleaner to choke it. But 2 exhaust pipes, one for each cylinder, though, like I say, it's a continuous head. But they got the nice big fenders and rubber tank sides. I'm really curious to see, but they got that. It's not only stapled, it is glued onto the wood underneath because there's a piece of wood under there. Like say here now, these bolts, they're from originally, you ordered them from Sears, they came in a crate. And that was tying it down in the crate, and the guy never took them off. But there's weird things like this toolbox. It's a big toolbox. And this one actually has the original tools, a big set of tools, in a leather pouch that is all there. It's a cool deal. Really are a nice bike. Yep, 9,000 miles on her. hand grips wore out, I was actually able to find some of the Coke bottle style grips that they used to use. So we got that part, but there's a lot that needs to be done on it. I think he said he couldn't get spark on it, but my brother picked this up at an auction sale for $700. Now that ain't bad considering new, they were $500. But there's things about this that I can't for the life of me figure out. Like there's no side stand, it's only a center stand. And there's the exhaust has a hole that runs through it from one side to the other, but it is not connected to the exhaust system. It's like you could stick a big bolt through there. I don't know what it would be for. But there's a lot of weird things on this bike, but it's complete. The taillight has been changed, and I'm hoping to find one that's a little more original for it. There are parts available for them. But it's funny, like there's a plug on the other side, and then there's a plug back here. But like I said, the guy I knew who had one, he'd be running it, he'd pull plug wire off. Didn't make any difference because the head is one head. So it's a kind of a V-twin, but with one big, like a figure 8 shaped head. Really well made though, but I know when I was looking, it is Austrian, but it's tied in with Steyr-Dom or, it's odd. But you got your steering damper, so she doesn't get out of control. Really cool motorcycle, though. That was the deal at $700. But I'd be very curious to get that going. And this is the key. Yeah, push her down, and you click her one way for ignition, the other way, and you can just pull it out, and it's like a stereo plug. It's a weird way of keying them. You can stick a nail in there, and it's going to start. But this is one of them, like I say, it's in nice shape except for that seat cover. But I hope to God, that regular horsehair or horsehide seat is under there. But the idea on this one is not to restore it. I mean, it's in such nice shape. I think a guy could just repair what needs to be repaired and drive her like it is. Keep the patina. But that motor, I know the guy that I knew that had one. At the time, I had a 250 Kawasaki. And I could beat him so badly. These things are not speed demons. But it has low-end torque for a 2-cycle. It's got low-end torque, so it pulls strong. It's just a nice driver. She's cool. But these people, you get used to working on Japanese motorcycles. They didn't do anything like the Japanese did. They did their own way. Stuff is pretty strange when you're used to working on Japanese stuff. And like those exhaust, this, I was impressed. The exhaust pipes are in nice shape. Normally they're all beat up or rusted out on every Japanese bike. But these are in nice shape. But it's weird because you see how it's black and then there's a cone on the end. When you take a pin out and you pull that cone out, there's a long baffle that's inside of there that gets carboned up, and then they don't run for crap. Then you got to take it out, clean that carbon off them baffles. because they run very quietly. It isn't like a normal two-stroke with that ring, ding, 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 ding stuff. They're just smooth. But there's a lot I like about the styling of that thing. But like I say, I don't really understand that oil injection. In 1960, I didn't think anybody was running oil injection, and it doesn't inject it like in the carburetor like you would normally think, or in the intake. It injects it, I'd swear, down in the lower end someplace. My guess is that they oil the connecting rod to the pinion shaft, and then the excess oil just mixes with the gas that's flying around in there. But she is all kinds of cool, and it is complete, which is just, to find something that old in that nice a shape. And like I say, well made, like even the handle to lift it on the center stand, which you have to use because there is no side stand. A big cast aluminum piece. Everything made solid. Well, she's a fine piece of machinery. Yeah, my brother said he'd hooked up a battery and all the lights and the switches all work. But I think he's got to clean the points on her. He couldn't get spark. But, yeah, for $700, you don't pass up a deal like that. Very nice. And I'll see when you get her running someday, I'll do another video on it. But you got to figure, like all enclosed chain, hell of a motorcycle. When he first bought it, he thought it was like a 1970 or something. I thought, I can't. It turned out he got the title for it. It's a 1960. But I remember at that time going through the Sears catalog, saying, "God, if I could only get together $500." But she was not doable. But with it, like I say, he's got the complete toolkit and the manual.